but you already know. I hate myself when I let you let go. 'Cause I don't care what you said to me when you said you needed to breathe. And now I'm all alone. Where did you go? Where did you go? I'm all alone. Won't you come back home? I miss the way that you hold me. I miss the way that you feel. I miss the way that you touch me. So real. I miss the way that you hold me. I miss the way that you feel. I miss the way that you touch me. So real.
Ready. This is the most exciting part. This is where you get to see the dangerous demos, and I would like to introduce you to the commander of the chaos, the manager of the madness. It is this English person behind.
Keep talking. I've got to.
Oh, okay. I've got to keep talking. All right. In that case, let me just tell you what prizes are going to be awarded across the course of the dangerous demos. The judging panel, which look, he's just walking up. It includes Nir Simonovic. Nir, do you want to take a seat just there, please? We've got Nir on the judging panel. We've got Simon on the judging panel. Jared on the judging panel. No, Eric's fetching yours. And we've got myself on the judging panel. Judging? No. That's mine. You have a sit just there. This is just part of the madness to start with. Okay, I'm going to go through in no particular order of the prizes. We've got an award for the most entertaining. Okay, that will be judged by the judging panel, the most entertaining. We've got an award for the Swan. The Swan is the demo that works the smoothest and actually doesn't look like it's achieving much, but underneath, there's loads of stuff going on. There's loads of complex machinery, loads of moving parts. That is the Swan prize. There's the Crash and Burn. That's the demo that starts off with the greatest intention, then sadly crashes and burns spectacularly. And that one doesn't go unrewarded. That one gets some Apple AirPods. It's pretty good going, isn't it? I should have mentioned that the most entertaining gets the Google Pixel phone, and the Swan gets an iPad. Should have mentioned that. And then we've got Best Use of Asterisk, sponsored specially by Cloudonics. They're sponsoring the whole thing, but they've arranged a prize. That's an Arduino kit, dev kit, for the Best Use of Asterisk. We've got a Best Use of Free PBX, which is a Microsoft Surface Go, very nice piece of machinery. And then we've got another Arduino dev kit. What was that one for? I forgot that part. Okay, anyway, bear with us. This is going to be magical. Are we ready, James?
We are ready.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, James Bodie.
Hooray! As usual, just a little bit of technical complexity involved in the dangerous demos. Right, let's very quickly whiz through the batting order. So first up is going to be Scott Murawski. Where are you, Scott? Would you like to get up and man your position in position number 1? Second up is going to be Sean. Sean McCord. Is Sean in the house? Would you like to take to the other podium? If you need assistance in getting connected, that somebody will come and help plug you in. After those two, the batting order after that is Steve Lazaridis from Phonism. Is he in the house? Or has he done a runner? I have a horrible feeling that Steve may have done a runner. That's our first runner. If you don't turn up, you just get named.
Audio?
He's not here. Well, he's done a runner then.
So I'll be on the...
Okay, so next up will be Joran Vinzens from Sipgate. Joran. So you're next on this podium after Scott. After that, Miguel Torres, from all the way from Mexico. Oh yes, you're there, still coding. That's what we like to see. I love that. After that, James Finstrom, who's going to be doing something incredibly dangerous. Where are you, James? Okay, like a coiled spring ready to do something. Good. Then, one of my favorites, David. Where's David? Yeah, he's squeaking over there. Good. Then a very, very clever audio demo from Anish. Anish, yeah, you're there. Great. I feel compelled that we ought to find you a white coat, actually, for your demo, Anish, because it's so clever. Okay, and then we have Torry Searle. Torry, yes, a man who can always be relied upon to do something completely outrageous. Then another cracking demo, Sylvain Boilly, all the way from France. Sylvain, well, I know you're going to love Sylvain's one. It's lots of audience participation and lots of danger in that. And then Anthony Milasala, he's undoubtedly still coding somewhere. And we've also, is Matt Fredrickson and his dangerous team lurking around somewhere? They said they were going to do something, but if they didn't, we'd just shame them. Yeah, we put them right at the back just in case. But knowing Matt, he'll probably burst in at the last moment and say, right, we're ready to go. So, okay. Okay, the format here, the demonstrations, each one will be precisely 3 minutes, unless we feel really, well, we just want to see how it's going to turn out. If it's a big disaster, then we'll probably cut you off at 3 minutes. But under exceptional circumstances, you may be allowed to go on a little bit further. You've introduced the judges?
I did.
You did. And then we've got about 1 minute for a changeover. And then we'll go on and just cycle right the way through. So the first contender is Mr. Scott Morawski, a man who knows no fear indeed.
Just one thing before you do that. Are you going to pre-brief people about the audience vote to tell them that they will get a vote?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, David, for that. Just to remind you, everybody, there will be an audience vote. So you will need your phones available. Be aware that there are mechanisms in the works to stop people sending bulk SMSs. This has been known to occur at AstriCon in dangerous demos. And in fact, the last one we did at ClueCon, we something like 75% of the votes were thrown out because they came from bulk SMS places. But so you have to send your votes from your proper cell phone in this room, okay? Otherwise, they will, and you're only allowed to vote once. If you change your vote, then it will change it on the system. But more of that later from my dangerous compatriot. I think we're ready to go. Judges, are we ready to go?
We're always ready.
Okay. Mr. Timer Man at the back, are we ready to trigger the timer? Who's...
It's on. The timer's on.
Oh, it started already. So, Scott, you've got 3 minutes starting now.
Hello, AstriCon. Hey, hello. Yeah, so my name is Scott Morawski from IntelliSoft.net. And so we like to do phone systems and circus. Yes. So it'll be an exciting, dangerous demo. Yeah, so here's the signal. You could dial in to the number there. So that's a conference bridge. So that conference bridge is running on this Raspberry Pi right over there.
Dial in now.
Dial in now.
Get your phones out. Get dialing.
Calling on that real life number, 646-849-5757. Looks like there's some activity already.
Yep, so we have some activity.
So hopefully you're on an Asterisk conference bridge.
What was the number? Oh, yeah.
The number is 646-849-5757.
Oh, busy?
So hopefully we've got some people on there now. How many people have we got on there?
12 active calls.
Well, there's a number of calls going.
Well, perhaps we've maxed out the... Anyway.
Yeah, it could be back
going,
there. Okay,
keep
yeah. Okay, so now that there's people on the conference bridge, we get to the dangerous part. So I will be unplugging the video. There we go. I'll be grabbing this roll of tape and this beanbag. And the idea is to have the live conference call going while juggling.
A juggled Asterisk server.
So who's on the conference? Can you just confirm that the conference bridge is still live?
Yeah, there's John Kinniston over there is on the...
Yeah, so
on
we
the
like
conference.
to, considering I still have time left, we're going to amp up the difficulty, and we're going to go for 4. You know, we can't go fire because like it'll melt.
Okay. He didn't drop it just yet.
And there we are, the world first, I think. That's
Yeah,
the first time a conference call has ever been juggled whilst live.
So now we're going to go for 5.
Oh, no!
You've got 29 seconds to go for 5.
Right, how many seconds?
25 seconds now. Hooray!
Well done, Scott.
So I did drop it. So the question is, are people still on the conference bridge?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have 2 people. Excellent. Massive round of applause for that.
Craig! And a good one to start off. The first,
And well within time.
First dangerous demo. So now we go. Next on this side is going to be Joran, Sipgate Joran. Do you want to come up and get plugged up? Yep. On that side. Okay. All right. So we go from the ridiculous to the sublime. So after the frenzy of the first demo, we've got Sean, and Sean is going to show us scaling Asterisk within Kubernetes under voice control, and this is wonderful. So let's start the clock.
So this time I figured I'd give you a little bit of structure here of what we're actually looking at. We have a Kubernetes cluster running a number of pieces. We have the Camellia running as a daemon set on multiple nodes. We have Asterisk running as a scalable deployment, the audio socket application running as a scalable deployment, and NATS running as a single instance deployment for the ARI proxying. We are going to be making a call in, and we take in through Camellia through to Asterisk. That's over SIP and RTP. Then we make an audio socket connection to our app, and the app then takes gRPC connections to Google's speech recognition, Google text-to-speech, and the Kubernetes API server. So audio socket, we take from an initial packet with the call ID. We go to send a whole bunch of signed linear audio. We receive a whole bunch of signed linear audio, and then we send a hang-up. And so that is the process. Hopefully, we will see it go. So we call in.
Calling in on the secret number.
Hello, how may I help you?
Please scale the Asterisk to 3 instances.
Asterisk has been scaled to 3 instances.
So we see up here on the upper left corner, we see the 3 asterisks. We see Camellia has been updated in the lower left-hand corner with the dispatchers list, and everything else happy and no errors. So we'll try and up the ante a bit.
How may I help you?
Scale Asterisk to 8 instances, please.
Asterisk has been scaled to 8 instances.
So there we have 8. And let's see if we can go to 9.
Hello, how may I help you?
Please scale Asterisk to 9 instances.
That's what's dangerous about it.
Hello, how may I help you?
Please scale Asterisk to 9 instances.
Asterisk has been scaled to 9 instances.
10 seconds.
And maybe we'll eventually get them. They are coming up.
Yeah, we're over time, but an excellent demonstration. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. So, Miguel, would you like to make your way up to that side? Joran, you're going to... I'm just looking at my list here.
Hello.
The title here says, no idea, but he says that it's good.
Yeah, sure.
Did you tell me what you're going to do? You didn't, did you?
So I tried to make a basic call, I guess.
A what call?
So A calls B stuff, Alice calls Bob, you know.
That
Sounds like Joran's going to attempt a
that
phone
doesn't
call.
sound particularly dangerous.
Yeah, you have to recognize that on 2 days ago, 2 days ago, it was not possible at all to make a call through that stuff I did.
Okay.
Let's let him kick off, James. Let the man
let's
defend
kick off.
himself.
So, Mr. Timer, would you like to start the clock? Joran, you're on.
So it's about having an Asterisk 16 with ARI. There is an ARI proxy which I will start shortly, connected to a Kafka. From the Kafka there is a call controller connecting to the Kafka, getting all the events, making the basic call work, and all this stuff is done by the call controller. And hopefully we will have audio and both calls up and running, and hopefully the buy is going through. So the dial plan is just a one-liner to have Stasis app. There isn't anything left there. So I start the ARI proxy, which never done a basic call before, beside of my testing. Now we have the call controller running in my IDE, so we're starting that up as well. Hope it works. Looks good so far. Now we have 2 clients. Just to be sure, I re-register this one. This is now, hopefully. I think it's working.
I think we just joined Acoustic Shock Club.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. So the basic call worked. We see here it's another consumer from the Kafka, which consumes all the events coming in. So we could do other stuff with that. And here in our basic, in the call controller, we see all the events coming in, including stack trace stuff. But yeah, it worked the first time.
We may need a new category, James.
Yeah, what category is that? The totally unfathomable.
Yeah, it's basically a dial command, right?
Yeah, the incredibly clever but totally incomprehensible category. Yeah, well, that was quite good. So next on...
Thank you very much. Did Joran get a round of applause?
Thank you, Joran. That was good.
What?
Yeah, round of applause for Joran. Go on, yay! So next up on the
Can we reset the
stage
clock,
will be
please?
James Finstrom. Make your way over and get yourself plugged in. So Miguel here. Oh, I see sweeties. Extra danger.
We do need the clock reset, James, if we can.
Yeah, we need to reset the clock as well, please. Miguel had the displeasure of having me moderating him yesterday. He did a version of this demo, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. In fact, it's not pretty cool, it's very cool. And so I guess we're going to see a rerun of that, but with possibly extra danger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this one's all about audio fingerprinting and possibly transcription.
Only audio fingerprinting, I couldn't work
Audio
on the transcription.
fingerprinting without the transcription. Okay.
So
So
I'm
are we
going to
ready
need
to go?
one volunteer.
You need a volunteer from the audience?
Yes.
Yeah, well, do you...
Go, come on.
Matt Jordan. Round of applause for Matt Jordan.
I love to see a bit of audience participation. It really makes a difference. Right, are we ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, start the clock.
Well, I was talking yesterday about audio fingerprinting and speech-to-text, but open source, we're working with some libraries. One example that we are going to use right now, I only just did it in 2 hours or less, well, less than 2 hours, is I set up a free PBX, the libraries and everything, and I made 2 IVRs. The first IVR, we are going to dial an extension, and you're going to say your name.
Okay.
Okay, here is the phone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
After the tone, say your name, and then press the pound key.
Matt Jordan.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, now we are going to dial another extension, and with his voice, he's going to try to get into that conference. We are going to use the audio fingerprinting technology.
Please tell your name.
Say it again. Matt Jordan.
Please tell your name.
All right, try.
Matt Jordan.
Please tell your name.
Matt Jordan.
Please tell your name.
Matt Jordan.
Please tell your name.
An early contender for the crash and burn.
Well, that's what happens when you get Matt Jordan to be your man from the audience.
Candy? Mexican candy? Free candy?
Yeah. Yes, you've got 1 minute. In fact, you've probably got enough time. Get another volunteer and just do it again quickly. Go on. Another volunteer.
Another
Make it work. There's enough time. Go on, go on, go on, David. Run, 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 run.
After the tone, say your name, and then press the pound key.
Tony Beeping Lewis.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, wait a minute. I need to do this. And let's.
Please tell your name.
Tony Beeping Lewis.
Please tell your name. Please tell your name.
Well done for trying Miguel. Well done.
Yeah, well done. Okay, next up, David. I know how keen David, any opportunity to get on the stage, David's up there immediately. So, but meanwhile, we focus on James, cool as a cucumber as ever.
Yeah, things change.
This is a demo that I know has got quite a lot of moving parts. So, are you confident?
What's that?
James? Are you confident, James?
Sure,
that
let's go with that.
This is going to work. Okay, Mr. Timer, would you like to start the clock? You're off, James.
Not now, people. Hang on a second. So I thought we were going to have video up here, like somebody that was going to look down on my camera, and so my demo got a lot less impressive. So I was trying to find a way to show you guys my phone.
Well, we can get some video up there quickly. This is why we did the AV.
Oh, I had asked when privately, and I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's coming. Video's coming. Here we go.
Finstrom cam.
We might give you a couple of extra seconds at the end if you're lucky.
No,
We'll add some on.
I have strong confidence in myself, so maybe not. So what we're going to do to make sure that I'm not cheating here, if you can see, we'll go text message here. So what I'm going to do is a couple months ago on Twitter and elsewhere, I did this, what's the most absurd thing I can do? And the determination was to send SMS over fax. Fax being the only, if you can see, HIPAA dog was up there earlier. Fax is the only compliant security thing, right? The only way to securely send info. So anyway, we'll go. Give me something short to type because I don't type fast. Elephant. PHP elephant, right? It shouldn't have been Jordan though, because that could have totally been a plant. All right, so it's not really amazing to watch here, but in a moment, we'll come back over here. I'm getting a fax. I can actually see it under now, but I should get a fax here in a moment. This is the dangerous part, is faxing over VoIP, right? Because James said it's not dangerous enough, but he's never faxed over VoIP, apparently.
T38 is a proven
It took
technology.
me 3 minutes to write the code and 45 minutes to set up the server.
Got error correction mode on or off there?
See, this is, it's not working. No, I think it's still going. Are UCL circuits is busy? Did it mess?
Well, you should be using an ATA with a proper fax machine
It's
on
not,
the end.
it's not working with this method. Why would I want to make it harder? Oh, it's still saying, okay, so we have this whole thing with fax. You see, it's a fast technology. That's what makes it so secure. By the time you were to hack it and get into it, nobody would care anymore. The data would no longer be valid.
It's okay, you've got another 20 seconds, so no sweat.
No, it's on. Oh, no, that's too complicated.
It would be so much more impressive if you had a fax machine with a bit of paper coming out the top.
Yeah, so at least we could hear the screaming, right? Like, well, there's screaming, you just can't hear it. It's right here.
You've got another 20 seconds if you need it, James.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to send a fax in 45 seconds, is I think what somebody said their timing was.
We'll let you run on for just a little bit longer because I just want to see what it looks like when it comes out.
And I deleted my test ones, of course, so there's no active calls.
So you're saying you actually did test this?
Oh, it is there. No, yeah, I tested it a lot as I was setting up fax over VoIP. which is, it's more absurd than fax in itself.
So just to clarify, this is using free PBX, isn't it?
No, it's faxing over Asterisk,
Oh, it's Asterisk. Oh.
a Sangoma product.
We sounds like we may have to combine the crash and burn and best use of free PBX into one.
Yeah, do I get both?
I hate it when people try and win multiple prizes. Is it going to do something, James? Because you are just about well and truly out of time.
I think we are going to have to call it.
Yeah, we're going to have to call it.
Yeah.
So so ultimately, here's what's going to happen. Was it receives the message, it receives the text, it converts it, it PGP encrypts it, abusing technology. We PGP encrypt, then we turn that into a QR code, the armored text. We take that QR code, we fax that over to our interface here. Could have been printed out, right? Then I scan it with my phone. I decrypt it on my side, and I see something simple like elephant.
The concept itself deserves a round of applause,
very secure.
as does James.
Yeah.
I would like to point out my success in the fact that it was a secure transmission, as none of you saw it.
Well, that bit was a success, but James, what an effort. So thank you for that. So next up, after James on
Can we
the
have the
side,
clock reset, please?
is Anish. So if you would like to get yourself set up and ready, and then hold on to something immovable, whilst David does his. I'm guessing, David, we're going to have a little bit of audience participation in this one?
A little bit, if we could get the number up.
Okay, well, so there's a telephone number going up. So, ladies and gentlemen, get your phones up, be ready. David, you have 3 minutes starting from now.
All right, so basically, for those that are here from the US, we get the calls from the IRS scammers, or from Canada. I think it's called the CCA. So this will go ahead and hook you up with a random scammer. I have a list of about 10 IRS people. I'm recording the calls, so the winner would be to whoever we could get to curse them, to get the IRS scammers to curse them out the most. So I'm recording all the calls. It's going to randomly pair you with a random IRS scammer. So there is one number. If you call it, if you have the option to press star, just ignore it and wait till it pairs you with somebody. At the same time, I wrote another script that's going to randomly call them and play random messages. And it says, I want to win dangerous demos. Please curse me out, because if you curse me out, perhaps I'll win. So this PHP script over here is calling them. It's randomizing the caller ID. It's randomly picking a different scammer to call every single time. You see, we call. It's calling random scammers. I see everybody's participating as well. I'm maxing out my channels. So this is awesome. I'm pissing somebody off. I did this earlier and got a couple of FUs. So really quickly, let's see if we pissed them off enough, we could hear them yelling. I'm going to grab random phone calls. Okay, that's a fail. Those are 1 kilobyte ones. Let's see if we get the bigger ones. Awesome, right here, in. No cursing. All right. Yeah, because they're just hearing my sound file. Next, let's see if we can get somebody to curse me out. Because if I really didn't piss them off, did I win? They're just laughing because they hear the message in the background. Did anybody actually get through and speak to them? All right, let's see if we can find one of those calls. All right, let's see if we can get one of those participants. Yeah, those are the ones where we get both sides.
I think this is really great. Crowdsourced pissing off of scammers. It's great.
Let's do it by size, so hopefully we'll get one. Come on. All right, let's see if we got through. And if whoever's torrenting would stop torrenting, that would help. So I could actually download. Come on. And I lost my internet. Nope, there we go. Participants, there we go. That's 1.5 megs. That should be something. Yeah, that's not going to work.
It's so big.
Like I said, whoever's torrenting, if you could please stop, I'd appreciate it.
We do really want to hear one of these audio files.
Yeah, I want to hear it too, because it brings great joy. 3 minutes, I'm going to be way over.
It's great to think that call
Cancel,
centers all
yes.
over India are lighting up right now.
So I'm using Windows, so I deserve this. Let's try one more time. All right, let's see if we can get something out. Let's try 0.5 meg. There we go. I know why we can't hear it. All right, I guess I enter the category of crash and burn.
We're going to have to call time, I think.
Yeah, you're out of time, David, but
right.
it's a brave event, a brave event.
It is a brave event.
Whoever got through, did they get angry at you? Damn. All right, I tried.
Okay. Well done.
David Bender.
Okay, next on that platform, it's Tori, if you want to come up and get plugged in, and Anish. Now,
It's Anis, yes.
Anish,
Thank you.
yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah, do you want a little intro? Well, you can just dive into it if you like. But no, I was impressed by Anis when he came up and described what he was going to do. I understood it for at least 5 seconds. It's quite clever. Let's see whether you can understand it as well. So, Anis, the time is all yours.
Thank you, James. After that wonderful introduction, this is going to fail. All right, so apologize for the geeky title. I had to come up with this in about 15 minutes while doing 15 other things in parallel. So what we're going to try to do here, and this is really the most incorrect way of doing this demo, but I've got my colleague Amos on the phone here, and he is over in Toronto, Canada. And we're going to be able to look at his screen shortly, but more importantly, I'm going to place a call to his phone. He's then going to conference in, the Echo service in Asterisk sitting in a cloud instance. And so we'll hear him say a few words. He'll use the word telephone, and he'll hear the word echo back as it normally would, and it will interfere with his voice. Now, he's going to simultaneously be loading down his network, and in this device that you see next to the phone, on the left of the phone, it does some traffic shaping. It's a Linux box with some ports on it and does some traffic shaping. And we're going to turn the traffic shaping on and off, and we'll see if it all goes well, we'll see the impact, or we'll hear the impact of traffic shaping or not traffic shaping in a saturated network on voice. And so if you would, you might need to pay attention to the word that he says, which is telephone. He'll repeat it a few times, and you'll hear the word interfere with itself. If the interference is really, really quick, that means the transit time to the server and back is under 10 to 15 milliseconds. You'll hear it kind of collide with itself in a way that you can more or less understand. And if that extends to about close to 100 milliseconds, it'll be hard to understand.
And you've got about a minute.
1 minute.
All right, here we go. Nope. Amos, can you hear me? All right, he's dialing.
You will now hear your own voice in an echo test. Telephone, 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 telephone.
Thanks, Amos.
Thanks, Amos.
All right, so now he's going to switch off sorry, I meant to show you the screen earlier. So he's going to now switch off the traffic shaping. Sorry, I can't blow that up anymore, but it's all green screen stuff anyway. And then he'll repeat the test, and if it works, you'll hear a little bit more interference. How are we doing?
Yeah.
5 seconds, 3 seconds.
I think we'll let you run on for a little bit.
Amos.
The whole point of this is you need to hear what it says.
All right, he's dialing.
You will now hear your own voice in an echo test. Telephone, 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 telephone.
Thank you, Amos.
Thank you, Amos.
Okay, I'm done.
Well, I said it was pretty clever stuff, but thank you for that, Anis. That was great. Next up, Sylvain. Where are you, Sylvain? Get yourself plugged in. But meanwhile, Tori, you have given me the title North Korean Database Administration. I have no idea what that means or what you're going to do. So you have 3 minutes, starting from now.
All right, so the idea is people like to go to low-cost countries to outsource their stuff. I figure there's no place cheaper than North Korea. But the thing is they don't have internet, but they do have fax. So I'm going to do my database administration over a fax interface. So first step is I'm going to have to build my fax SQL and put it into a fax message. So I'm going to say, have this SQL string update log, set message equals, let's say, jbode is mean, because he made me do this dangerous demo, and let's go like that. And now I have that SQL is now encoded into a QR code. So now I am going to now upload that QR code via fax to my database. Oh wait, sorry, I want to do other. Choose file.
No connection with James's demo whatsoever. Everything is totally...
If it comes out and says elephant, I'm going to be really impressed.
And just to be sure that it gets through, I'll send it a couple times.
I think if it comes out at all, it'll be pretty impressive, won't it?
So, yes, so it's being faxed to a VoxFax number, and then I have a VoxFax client, which will then decode the QR code and then send it to run whatever's in that QR code directly as an SQL statement onto this database, which is accessed via an SSL tunnel. So it's essentially SQL over QR over fax over SSH tunnel. What can possibly go wrong, I think? So here is the asterisk sending the fax here, so you can see the fax progress. Hopefully at some point it's going to say success, at which point then over to this window here, you will have the HTTP client, which is the VoxFax client, which will receive it. And up over here, if all things go well, you should see this row in the database updated to being jbode is mean.
Thank you for that. Clearly it's not going to work because of the content.
Something happened.
Failed. Okay, let's try one more time.
Meanwhile, James Finstrom is behind the scenes poking things in the router to make sure it doesn't work.
How much time do I have left?
14 seconds.
14?
Yeah.
Since it's you, Tori, we'll make it 16.
Yeah, keep going.
Come on.
Just be great to see a fax demo that actually works. I want to see a fax demo where paper comes out of the top or the bottom. I mean,
See, next year we're going to have a best use of fax.
Yeah, absolutely. A prize, a roll of fax paper or something, or toilet paper even.
Come on.
Is anything happening there, Tori?
Yes,
I know you're
still
willing
ongoing.
it.
Tori's whispering to his laptop. Give it encouragement.
Where's James? Is James still in the house? No, he's probably out. He's out somewhere.
Have we got Tony from Free Switch? Because he's going to be next up.
Success!
Where?
So now we just need to get, now the fax should arrive over here, and anytime in the next 60 seconds.
Oh, come on! Well, come on, just...
Okay, there we go. So now, Come on. James Bodie is me.
Tori, well done. You're totally vindicated.
All right.
Woo-wee. So I wouldn't like to be you, because you've got to face James Finstrom later, haven't you? Anyway, next up on that side, Tony. If you're ready, would you like to come up and take over from Tori and get yourself plugged up? Right, this next one, Sylvain. I saw a little bit of this in rehearsals. It was noisy and it was fun. So do you think you can fit it in 3 minutes? Can you save the Earth in 3 minutes?
Ah, yes, for sure. It's not with facts. For sure.
Okay, no facts. But what this one is entitled is Protecting the Earth Against Aliens Without Facts. So, Sylvain, you have 3
Without
minutes. No facts. 3 minutes starting from now.
It's okay?
Yes, go.
Yeah, okay?
Yeah, go.
Okay, so first is not a fake news, okay? So, yeah, Monday I received a call from Donald Trump. And he said to me, it's important. Elon Musk have found alien with his Tesla in space. So we need to find a solution because it's really easy to have a wall between Mexico and the US and a wall between US and Canada. But imagine a wall between US and space. So it's impossible. So we need to have another solution. So we think about, and we found a solution. It's a new call center, new generation for alien, and I need your help because we need to have a simulation about this alien coming in a space. So you have a number, okay? So please the number.
More
okay?
audience participation.
And I'm ready to destroy.
Go on, get dialing.
I need a call.
So when you've dialed...
Yes, there's a call. Yeah, I need more. It's so easy. Voila. Ah! My God! Oh, it's not finished because the guys who kill me, I receive a call on my cellular, I hope, and I need to talk with him. Oh, I have a call. Hello, alien? Who are you? Hello?
Who is it?
Who is it?
It's David!
It's David Bender. Is he cussing at you?
Okay. I have a question for you. You have the right to go in the US, but I have a question. Did you approve the next AstriCon will be in Canada? Why? Because Sangoma is Canadian, no? Yes or no? Well, we get to travel, so maybe. Ah, yeah, so you have the right.
You've still got 33 seconds, so can you reset it so we can kill some more aliens,
Oh,
please?
we can continue to...
Yeah, let's have some more aliens.
Yeah,
we want somebody else to win, just to prove that it's not a setup with David.
I don't know why I haven't the sound, but...
Yeah, what's happened to the sound? Because the sound was...
Yeah, normally there is a sound.
Yeah, lots of sound. I can hear little bits of sound coming out all over the room, but...
Ah,
oh.
Ula.
Oh, the aliens got you this time.
Well, there is too much alien. That's why it's so long to charge all call.
Is it going to work, or is it broken?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
I'm better now.
Sylvain, defender of the world.
Oh, so much spaghetti.
There's only one, two. They keep coming.
It's crazy. So how does it work? It's there is a WASO with a REST API and WebSocket, and we abstract array and Asterisk. So I just used a game found on internet, and I hack it to use our API. So,
amazing.
Yeah.
Well done, Sylvain.
Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
So that was, just to recap, that was a Wazor with a WebSocket. So, yeah. Best French technology. I'm hugely impressed by that.
James does other languages as well, don't you, James?
Yeah. Yeah, a call center. Right, that brings us to, I think...
Matt.
Matt, you
Matt's
ready?
the last on the list.
You ready to go? Okay.
Yeah, but
you get yourself
Tony's
up there.
next.
Yeah, I kind of missed Matt on the list. Well, Matt is actually is not on the list for some...
We added him, James. We added him.
He is now. So, a man who needs no introduction, Mr. Tony Minasale, father of Free Switch.
I thought you needed no introduction.
Well, I've introduced him anyway. Multiple winner. There are very few people who've ever won 2 dangerous demo prizes at the same time, and Anthony is one of that very select group. I've got no idea what you're going to do for us today, Anthony. So, I don't know what are you going to do for us today. I'm giving you extra time,
Cool.
so
Yeah,
come on, padding it a bit. Use the
Thank you.
microphone.
Okay.
Tell us what you're going to do.
Okay, well, let me use yours. I have a newer Mac and there's no audio interface, so I gotta stick the mic in front of the computer. So I gotta borrow yours to talk through. So, hi everyone. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do.
Shall we start the clock?
Try and defuse a bomb.
Sounds good.
That sounds very good. Do you need this microphone? You probably do. Okay. Well, in which case, Tony, you have 3 minutes to defuse a bomb.
So basically what I want to do is kind of demonstrate some of the technology that we're trying to work on to solve practical use cases, but I'm always pressured into trying to add some danger to it, so I had to involve a bomb, unfortunately, for you guys. But basically what I'm going to choose see if I can defuse a bomb using voice commands, which is like, okay, but the real danger, I need you guys to help me. When I'm ready, I want you to make noise in the background, so it's very hard to talk. And I'm going to use this ordinary cell phone in this congested room as the interface to it. So I'm going to arm the bomb now. Okay, so if everyone can just make noise and talk to each other, like actually looking at paying attention.
Practical backdoor voice.
Bang, bang, bang.
Enter voice command.
Cut the red wire. Please cut the red wire.
Where did you plant the bomb? Is it under anybody's seat?
Please cut the red wire.
It sounds like you said, please cut the red wire.
Sorry, guys. Looks like it. Let's go look over on the console. Please cut the red wire.
It sounds like
Oh no, we cut the red wire, but it didn't do anything.
bomb detonates in force.
Competition for the crash and burn is really hotting up.
Please cut the red wire. Please cut the red wire. Game over. I lose.
Hey! How did that work? I think James Finstrom cut it by fax.
Oh, it understood me. It didn't listen to me.
Well, I thought that was pretty good anyway. A big round of applause for Tony. But bear in mind that that was thrown together in, well, this morning, wasn't it? Yeah.
Top class.
You would never know, would you? You would never know. And it did appear to be disarmed. Right. The extra surprise, the amazingly debonair and slightly skinny Matt Jordan.
I do eat.
And how much weight have you lost? You're worrying me, actually.
I just keep running.
Yes. Run for the hills.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
So I've got no idea what you're going to talk. What are you going to talk about?
I'm going to kill an Asterisk server. That's pretty much the whole entire demo. So there's a little bit else going on, but we're going to get a couple people into a conf bridge. I'm going to wait till we've got everybody in the conference, and then I'm going to kill the Asterisk server. So
we haven't said start yet.
Well, has the timer started?
Before you start, does it have howling monkeys?
No, it does not. There are no monkeys this time.
I'm disappointed. But
I'm
anyway,
sorry, James.
No
Matt,
monkeys will be harmed in the making.
You have 3 minutes, starting from now.
Okay, so I gave out a number for a couple people in the audience to call. If you're calling in that, can you just confirm that you're all hearing everything? I'm actually dialed in as well, so you're probably getting some fun echo from me up there. So can everybody can hear each other? Okay, cool. So I've got a little module that I put for Asterisk that also just dumps out some stats to Prometheus. So I've got Grafana up here, so I can see that I've got 2 Asterisk servers. Both are up. One has only been up for 50 minutes. One's been up for 1.149 days, and I got a bunch of channels hanging out in there. So we're going to go over here, and boom. Whoop, nope, no such process. Oh, yeah, whoops. I put in the wrong thing. Wait, what am I doing here? There we go. Hey, all right, so let's see. Did it kill it? Oh, yeah, it did. Good. Okay, so if I go over, that Asterisk instance is completely gone. Everybody can still hear each other, though, right? Okay, so that's because you're on the second Asterisk instance.
It flipped over.
So for live, all right, so no IP addresses moved. Those 2 servers have all been up. I moved the entire state of all the calls over, created the bridge, moved all the channels, re-invited the media back, and rebuilt the entire conference on the second server as soon as the first one died.
Woohoo!
No, I can't do that yet.
Absolutely brilliant. And no howling monkeys were harmed in any of that. Not a single howling monkey. And you've still got about a minute. So, how did you do that?
Oh, okay, so very complicated. I've got CoroSync maintaining a heartbeat between 2 systems on DigitalOcean. Then we use, I wrote a module that actually uses PJSIP to publish the state of the bridges and channels between both Asterisk instances. On the second Asterisk instance, it actually maintains the state of what it's seeing on the first Asterisk instance and vice versa. When the CoroSync heartbeat flips, that actually then sends out a broadcast message inside of Asterisk, which is picked up by my module. My module then recreates all the bridges and channels from the snapshot states that it got, goes into PJSIP, then it actually sends a re-invite out, faking out as if it was the first Asterisk instance that hits our SIP trunk over in Atlanta, redirects the media to that instance, and Bob's your uncle. So.
Way!
Yeah, Matt, that was pretty worthy. Thanks. Really good demo. Really good.
I feel like I
You're
should have
just
had
waiting for the sting. The sting.
What? Yeah, that was all in a half hour.
Can we fade that music down a little bit, please? James is available to do that.
time I'll try danger by fax or something.
Now,
Right, now it comes to...
I was just wanting to make sure that Andy Smith gets Matt onto the audience vote roster, because as you know...
yeah, I tried to put him in, but my pencil had gone flat. So this is where we attempt the normal dangerous bit of the dangerous demos, which is to link to Mr. Andy Smith, who's in UK. This is where we attempt the normal dangerous bit of the dangerous demos, which is to link to Mr. Andy... Andy, can you hear me? Who's in UK. This is where we attempt the normal dangerous bit of the dangerous demos, which is to link to Mr. Andy... Andy, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, indeed. Hello.
Right, tell us about the voting system and I'll just shut up.
Hello. Hello, hello. James, you're going to have to unmute something on there because I cannot hear you.
Another contender for the crash and burn.
There we go.
There we go, yeah. Right, I can hear you, and I can hear myself. That's scary. Right, Andy, you have 3 minutes to tell us all about the voting system.
I don't need 3 minutes to tell you about the voting system. Most of you used it before. So this is going to be a text SMS vote. I'm hoping that the numbers and indeed the contestants are on both screens to my left and right.
What the hell have we got on there? Oh, we've already got some votes. How can we already have some votes?
That's a good question. That's probably because I meant...
Vote by fax? 2 votes for the bandwidth team who didn't even compete.
Well, that's because it hasn't been refreshed. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Okay, what happens next, Andy?
Right, so you need to decide who it is you wish to vote for, and then you have to call, or rather SMS, just the number to the number that is up on the screen in front of you, which I don't have in front of me anymore.
It's on the screen now, so that's 407 543 6860.
And the votes that were there are now gone.
Well, they're still on the screen, but... okay, what are the numbers?
Sorry? The
list of numbers.
You don't have the list of numbers. Okay. Well, if somebody could put up vote.tp.mu/contestants.php, you will have.
So, can we put that up? votes.tp.mu/contestants.
.php.
Can you just read out the numbers? Read them out, Andy.
What? You want the phone number, or you want the number? Right, Scott Morawski is number 1. Sean McCord, number 2. Joran Vincent's number 3. Miguel Torres, number 4. James Finstrom, number 5. Number 6. Anish Munshi, number 7. Tori Searle, number 8. Sylvain Boyle, number 9. Anthony Minnesota, number 10. And a certain Matt Jordan, number 11.
So pick the person you want to win. Don't believe that we've only got 5 votes.
Well, I can see a lot more than 5 from here.
Yeah, what we didn't say is that some of these votes are being disallowed. The only votes that count are ones that come from real phones in ear. So those people who are sending hundreds of SMSs from a bulk SMS sending place will be disallowed. And also, you're only allowed to vote once. So if you change your vote, then it changes the scores on the doors. So at this moment, it looks like Matt Jordan and Sylvain Neck and neck. Oh, no, Sylvain is edging ahead by one vote. What are the numbers for Sylvain and Matt? Sylvain's 9, isn't he? Sylvain is 9. Matt Jordan is 11. Ooh, come on. A few more votes. If we can get 3 or 4 votes clear, we will have a winner. How much are you paying them, Matt? It looks like, I think, what do you reckon, judges? Do we have a winner yet? Yeah. Well, I'll call the winner of this one. I think we have a winner. It's Matt Jordan is the winner of the audience vote. Well done.
I'm just wondering which prize we allocated to the audience vote now.
It says in the spreadsheet. Which one is it? It says it's on the second tab.
Was it the Adreno kit?
I think it was.
Okay.
I can't think of a better person to
Yes,
get it.
I think it is the Adreno kit.
So that is awarded by the CEO of Cloudonics, Nir Simonovic.
Well done, mate. Round of applause.
Gosh, we got there in the end, didn't we? Right.
Okay, so let's do the rest in reverse order, if you like. So we'll start with the crash and burn. So
Okay,
judges, what we would like.
Yeah, who's going to be the spokesman?
Gosh, we got there in the end, didn't we? Okay, so let's do the rest in reverse order, if you like. So we'll start with the crash and burn. So judges, what we would like. Who's going to be the spokesman?
Crash and burn.
Let's do the rest in reverse order, if you like. So we'll start with the crash and burn. So judges, what we would like.
Mute yourself, Andy.
Hey. Crash and burn for failing in the most spectacular way despite heavy corporate cheerleading. James Finstrom.
Hey, James Finstrom. And James gets the beautiful AirPods, Apple AirPods. Well done, that man. Many congratulations. Top class. Okay, now we would be the most, no, we wouldn't be the most entertaining. We'd be the Swan Prize next, please, judges. Swan Prize.
For the sheer number of moving parts, not immediately apparent on the screen, and the elegance of presentation, Sean McCord.
Sean McCord. Where is that Sean McCord? There he is. Wonderful. Well done, Sean McCord. Sean McCord gets an iPad for his efforts. How about that? Well done, that man. Many congratulations. Top class. Sean McCord. Okay. Thank you. Now, we will do the most entertaining last. We've got best use of free PBX, and we've also got forgotten. Yeah, best use of free PBX and best use of Asterisk. Okay, let's do best use of free PBX first. Oh, well, we'll have to go back to James for that one a little bit later.
All right, for the best use of free PBX category, even though it was a bit of a crash and burn, we have Miguel.
Miguel, hey! And we've got a special guest to present that prize, and it is none other than Tony Lewis.
Hey, Miguel. So I went with the most unconventional gift. So James and I or Jim, Jesus, David and I were talking. He's like, you got to get something for free PBX. And then yesterday pops up Microsoft, the big announcement that they decided to open source 60,000 of their patents. So I decided to go support Microsoft as a thank you. And here's a Microsoft Surface.
Thank you very much, Tony. And so Nia, for the best use of Asterisk, please.
Just 1 second.
Okay, the judges are just confirming. Talk amongst yourselves. Tell your neighbour your favourite session from AstriCon so far. Compare notes. Okay.
Okay, so for a, where is he? So for a very noble attempt at actually annoying people to death, who we all hate, the IRS specifically, and the people who try to do whatever they want, David.
David Bender, there he comes.
So I hope you have a lot of time on your hands. So we have here an Arduino Mega Pack. So a lot of
Way.
stuff with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Bender.
And next year, a demo with that and that. Yeah.
Okay, and so we're to the last prize, which is for the most entertaining. It's a Google Pixel phone in this very box here. Who's it going to be?
Another very noble demonstration, but there's nothing more noble than saving Earth. Sylvain.
Sylvain Boily. Where's Sylvain? There he is. Many congratulations, Sylvain. Top job. Excellent. He gets the Google phone. Well done, that man. Sylvain Boily. And we should, just before we hand back to James, we should say a very, very big thank you to cloudonics.io for sponsoring the dangerous demos. Well done.
Yes. And that's about it for Dangerous Demos this year, but the next Dangerous Demos will be at Camailio World in Berlin next year.
Be sure to come along to try
if
your
we're
hand.
still alive. I'm looking
Dangerous
at Daniel
demos.
across there, yeah.
Yes.
We will be at
looks like
Camailio
a
World in 2019.
Julie, what time's our wrap-up session? Okay, so 3:15? 3:15. Okay.
So I think it's the first time we've ever finished on time, isn't
That's
it?
right. The last session that we've got is 3:15, so it's in 15 minutes' time. You get a little bit of a break. It's the wrap-up session. There are drinks at the back for you to avail yourselves of. It's when Matt Fredrickson and other folk from the project will be going through what's coming next in Asterisk. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, thank your quizmaster, Mr. James Bodie. And the judges, of course, Jared Smith, Simon Woodhead, Nia Siminovic. Thank you.
but you already know. I hate myself when I let you let go. 'Cause I don't care what you said to me. When you said you needed to breathe. And now I'm all alone. Where did you go? Where did you go? I'm all alone. Won't you come back home? I miss the way that you hold me. I miss the way that you feel. that you hold me. I miss the way that you feel. I miss the way that you touch me. So real. Yeah. So real. Miss the way, miss the way, miss the way. Hey. So real. Oh yeah. Broke me down, baby, too many times. It just ain't fair, and I still don't know why. And now I'm all alone. Where did you go? Where did you go? I'm all alone. Won't you come back home? I miss the way that you hold me. I miss the way that you feel. I miss the way that you touch me. So real. I miss the way that you hold me. I miss the way that you feel. I miss the way that you touch me. So real. Ooh, hey. Yeah, yeah. Hey. Na, 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 na. Oh, so real.
wing, so come and take your seats. You've got about a minute, well, 30 seconds, well, 29 seconds to come and grab a seat. This is the last session, but it's a very, very important session. A very important session indeed, for many reasons, and you're going to find some of them soon. It's the session where we get some real-life software engineers that do real-life coding to come and talk to you. But before we get them up, some of you may have participated in the quest. How many people participated in the quest? Few hands up around there. Top class. Okay, I'd like to bring up Malcolm, the question master, to talk about that. Malcolm Davenport, everybody.
I am sure that the boos were from upset questors. All right, so thanks everybody for participating. Matt Jordan came to Matt Fredrickson and myself a couple of months ago with an idea that we should do some sort of adventure game in the spirit of any good sci-fi novel or anything like that with an Easter egg. So we came up with the Quest. And the Quest was a 3-day adventure. It was not well announced on purpose. It was on the back of your shirts. We got David to kind of tip everybody off, but there were actually a couple of you that figured it out initially. And over the course of the past 3 days, many have participated. I've gotten lots of questions on Zulu with people asking me for tips. Everybody went well over their 3 allotted tips, of course, because it was very, very difficult. But we have come to the end, and I am sad to announce that no one has won this year's Quest. Yeah. The grand prize and the only prize, because there are no participation trophies in a Quest, right? Everyone just dies if you don't make it to the end. The grand prize was I know. The dungeon masters are fairly mean. The grand prize was, in fact, a fully loaded PBExact system with Zulu 3. So the same thing that you were running when you were asking those questions, you would have won one of those for your very own self that you could have done whatever you pleased with it. I'm getting some dirty stares right now. But I did want to take some time, just a couple of minutes here, to recognize some of the people who had done particularly well in the Quest this year. Again, these are not winners, but they are the best losers. All right, so first I'm going to recognize Charlie Wilson, if he's in here. He's a Digium employee, or Digium, a Sangoma company employee, but he had no advanced knowledge of any of this, and he asked for just one clue the whole time, and he managed to get about halfway through it. So Charlie did a very good job. He got to question number 20 out of 30. Yes. Oh, stand to the side. Yes, thank you, Natasha. Yes. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Is there a stop? Is there, with the ledges? Yes, thank you. All right. Also, Alonso Raniero, he got also to question number 20. So good job to him. Then there was a team of 4 that is right over there. That team of 4 is Matthew Cornish, Jitesh Diva, it's a team of 3, and Jude Flood. There was a 4th member, but they were voted off the island. They got all the way to question number 23, and that was the Brady Bunch IVR, where you had to get 9 of your friends to call in order to advance, but that wasn't obvious. In 2nd place was Daniel Collins of USAN. He is not here. And in 1st place of the losers was Mr. Corey McFadden, who got all the way to question number 25. He found all of the clue cards, found everybody he needed to find, except that he needed to know that it was Tango D. Frog, and then he needed to go find Allison, and that would have been it. So yeah, the climax here is actually not really a climax, it's a small hill.
Do we need a round of applause for the losers?
We do, so thank you. All right, so we hope that everybody had a good time participating in it this year. We know it was a bit hard. It'll be hard again next year. The prize next year may be 2 of those things or something entirely different. But thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it.
Malcolm Davenport, the man with the mind. Okay, now on to Matthew Fredrickson. Matt, if I could ask you to come up and introduce everybody else that's going to be part of this next thing. Matt Fredrickson, lead of the Asterisk project. Round of applause for Matt.
Actually, I'm going to introduce him afterwards.
Okay, all right, fine.
Okay. All right, that was great. When Matt Jordan had the idea about the Quest. This is not my fault. However, that idea came through Matt Jordan about the Quest. It was funny. I hadn't seen the Ready Player One or whatever. I hadn't seen it yet, and I was like, that seems kind of interesting, but I didn't quite get it. And then I saw the movie and I was like, oh, this is cool. This is a really good idea. And then Malcolm, he ran off with it and he just took it to an entirely different level, which was just amazing. And I was surprised that anybody got as far as they did, given all the random esoteric things you had to go find in the Internet Wayback Machine and like all these weird places. And I was like, anyway, I figured if anybody got as far as you did, Corey, Corey, it's impressive in and of itself. So good job, man. And good job everybody else that got as far as they did too, because it's a lot of work. All right, so I'm here, and in some sense, as my professors in college would say, I am the only thing standing between you and the door right now. But I guess we're in a little bit more free environment, so if you want to go, you can go too. But I get the privilege of talking a little bit about Asterisk and what's happened this last year. I hope I don't bore you, because I bet everybody's brain's a little bit fried by this point, at least mine usually is. So I'm going to probably brush over some details and go kind of quickly through this material. But I do want to update you, inform you what's happened this last year in the year of Asterisk. So if this clicker works, and I'm assuming it will because these guys are good, yeah, it's moving forward. All right, so let's talk about what's happened. Here's some statistics, right, or some fun little numbers, right? We have been taking care of at least 3 released branches this last year. The 15.x branch, which we released last year at AstriCon, the 14.x branch, and the 13.x branch. Some things to note, the 14.x branch was in security fix only mode, so it received no bug fixes, no normal bug fixes, or feature improvements that were permissible to be included in that branch. Its final release was made not too long ago, and it is 14.7.7, and there will be no more releases to that branch because it went end of life just about 2 weeks ago. The 15.x branch, about a week ago, transitioned to bug or security fix only mode. So that's something to look out for if you're on that branch. It's time to start looking to move forward to a newer branch, preferably one we're going to talk about today. And then the 13.x branch, which is our LTS right now, had received 6 bug fix releases, and its current is 13.23.1. Over the course of the last year, there were 3,300 different code reviews merged on Garrett. That sounds just like a number, but if you think about that in terms of manpower and how much time's passed, that's close to, what, about 10 reviews per day. And that's not just business days or working days, but that's per day, right? That represents a lot of work and a lot of contribution to those branches. And so, I want to talk about something fun. For those of you who haven't heard yet, Asterisk 16 has been released. We generally try to do that every year at AstriCon, and we did it again this year. And according to my count, there were 1,000 commits. So just to that new branch, there were 1,000 distinct commits. And of those commits, there were 72 individual contributors who were part of that process. And I like to give kind of the wall of fame as far as development contributors. And here's the list that my scripts that I have every year produced. If you look, I chose this year to include the Digium/Sangoma employees as well, because I think it's important to realize that people inside Digium/Sangoma as well as outside that company contribute as well. And so we've got a number of different contributors here. I just want to take a moment, and if your name is on this list, or if you submitted a patch this last year and you didn't make it to this high in the commit count, but you still got a patch submitted to Asterisk, I would like you to stand up right now. Everybody? All right, thank you. I want a round of applause, Yeah.
Stay standing, please. Stay standing.
No, stay standing. So
This is,
by no means reflects the magnitude of whatever contributions that you made this last year, but we thought it'd be kind of fun to give out something to people that have managed to go through the arduous process of code review and getting something pushed in, trying to figure out how to log in, get an account with Garrett, and go through the contributor licensing process, go through all that to be able to commit a patch. There's a bit of upfront work. And so in honor of that, we have these limited edition patches, asterisk-shaped patches, that we wanted to give to each one of you.
Well done. You may sit down after you've received your patch.
You can, if you like to, you can sew it on, your bag or something like that, or you can go home and do something with it, whatever you feel like you're doing. But it is a token of recognition, but I would say it's a badge of honor for what you've done. and I appreciate that. So I want to go over a couple of contributors in particular. You notice that list, there were a few that were really high on the list. Corey Farrell, who is generally a regular contributor to the Asterisk project. He's not here this year, but he was the top contributor by commit count this last year, which is pretty awesome, 260 different patches. Alexander Troud, are you here? Can you stand? He is here. He was also one of our top contributors with 143 different patches. He was very active this year. And actually, the last one is Sean Bright, and he had 76 different patches. Alexander, since Sean and Corey aren't here, I can't do this in person, but Alexander, I was wondering if you could come up for a second. We wanted to kind of do like a special thanks or token of thanks for your efforts this last year and recognize you for what you've done. This is a wireless keyboard and a pocket PC to connect to it.
Okay, perfect.
Hopefully you can get Asterisk compiled and installed on it and keep pushing patches in.
I'm going for it. I'm going for it.
But thank you very much, Alexander. Yeah. All right, so I just want to take a moment right now. While I'm recognizing developmental contributions, I want all of you that contributed a patch to stand back up again. Yeah, come on, there's more than that. All right. Now, any of you that have replied to an email on a mailing list, I'd like you, on one of the Asterisk mailing lists or the forums or anything like that, I'd like you to stand as well. All right, we've got a few more. Keep standing. All right, any of you, let's see, what's the next layer? Any of you who have contributed a documentation improvement or tried to go through the process of updating the wiki to contribute documentation project, please stand. Come on, there you go, Igor. Yep, thanks. All right, for any of you who have maybe purchased a Digium or Sangoma product, please stand. All right, any of you who have paid money to come to a conference to talk about Asterisk, please stand. Come on. Come on, the rest of you stand up. All right, all of you have contributed to the Asterisk project. You guys better stand up too. All of you have contributed to the Asterisk project. The Asterisk project is by far larger than the developer base and the documentation contribution user base. It's about all the little things that you do to support the ecosystem, to support the companies that back it up, to support individual users that come to the project that have questions and who may get turned away because they get frustrated and they don't know how to go forward. So I want to thank all of you. You guys need to stand up too. There shouldn't be anybody left sitting at this point. I want to thank all of you for your efforts in making this project what it is. And it's huge, and it takes a lot of time and effort on the part of individuals in here. And I want everybody to give each other a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much for all that each one of you do. All right, so let's move forward. I just want to talk for a minute about releases and how they work with Asterisk. I'm not going to take too much time to talk about it because this is probably familiar to some of you. But in Asterisk land, a standard release, and that's what like the 14 release was and the 12.x release was, it gets 1 year of bug fixes and 1 year of security fixes. That's the way normal releases work. We also have LTS releases, which receive 4 years of bug fixes and 1 year of security fixes. And some examples of that are the 11 branch, which is now end of life, and the 13 branch, which has had a very long life. So we made a little bit of, there were some people that were frustrated this last year because historically we have made the odd major releases of Asterisk be LTS branches. And we kind of messed that up last year. It wasn't an accident. For those of you who were here last year, it was done with thought and intention, but it was because we made some significant changes to the core of Asterisk 15. And with the multi-stream video support, we broke a few of historical paradigms that were inside Asterisk, and we just wanted to have a standard release to be able to make sure everything had shaken out fine before we declared an LTS release. Well, we decided that things actually were much more stable and much more in better shape than we even imagined that they could be. And a lot of that's thanks to our great test suite that we have. And everything's gone very smoothly with 15.x. We haven't had major significant bugs, particularly related to the core changes that we made. And so we've gotten to the point where we're really happy with with what we've done. And so we would like to make Asterisk 16 an LTS. So Asterisk 16 will be the next LTS to move forward to. For those of you that stick to LTS releases and try to move forward from LTS release to LTS release, 16 is the release that you'll move to. And it'll receive its 4 years of bug fixes and 1 year of additional security fix. All right, I thought there'd be people more happy than that. You can like cheer or whatever. You don't have to, but anyway. Okay, cool. So let's move forward. Let's talk about Asterisk 16 some more. There are a number of topics I want to talk about today. I'm not going to go too far into the weeds, but some of them are kind of geek cool, and some of them, they have a lot more, they're easier to approach as a user as well. So we wanted to improve Asterisk 16's ability to work in flaky networks. You know, in the ideal world of without packet loss and reordering and weird routers and things like that, you know, this shouldn't be a problem. But we found that in the real world, there are issues, and particularly, as we mentioned last year, there are issues with video in particular as you have flaky networks and packet reordering and loss and things like that. So in Asterisk 15, to handle those scenarios, what we did is we took a bit of a sledgehammer approach, and every time we noticed a nasty packet-related situation with the video stream, we just told the remote end to resend a new full video frame, which takes a lot of bandwidth. It's kind of wasteful and things like that. It can take a little bit of time. And so it worked, but it was not as efficient and as granular as it could have been. So we decided to incorporate some of the newer technologies that browsers have produced to do things like packet retransmission and bandwidth control, things like that to prevent from having to do things like that. One of those technologies is called NAC. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a negative acknowledgement. So it's a way for, as a receiver of a video stream, when you detect there's a packet that's out of order or lost, it's a way for you to tell the remote end that that happened and allow them to retransmit that RTP packet. So instead of it being lost, it can be found again. And this is a picture, thanks to Ben Ford. I've been trying to do more pictures on my slides because somebody told me I don't have enough of them, and so I'm trying to do better. And this is a picture of that scenario. You have packets 1, 2, and 3 come in, and then you got the big nasty black cross-out sign right there, and then 6, 7, 8. So clearly 4 and 5 were lost, right? And then what Asterisk does is it realizes at 9, it realizes that those packets haven't come yet, and it might need to do something proactive to get them again. So it requests retransmission. It sends a NAC and requests the other side to retransmit them. And so that's able to repair the integrity of the video stream that way. We also added support for a bandwidth estimation technology so that, for example, if your last mile only had 1.5 meg of bandwidth and your video transmitter at the other end, whoever's sending you videos trying to send a 2 meg stream, you're in an inherently bad situation. You're never going to be able to receive that 2 meg stream successfully, right? And so there's a technology called REMB that allows the receiver to tell the remote end that, I only estimate that I've got 1.5 meg worth of bandwidth on my last mile here or whatever. Try to tune down your stream a little bit, and allows it tells the transmitter to do that. Transmitter is able to do that, and you're able to have, on the average, a higher quality experience due to being able to handle that situation in a proper way. There's a topic that I would like to call enhanced messaging, but it encompasses a few different things. One is, just to give some background, for those of you here last year, we kind of gave a demonstration, a fun engineering demo of what we built. And where we did all this work to add multi-stream video support and turn Asterisk into an SFU. We added some REST APIs to be able to do that programmatically, to have participants there and things like that. And then we built this fun little engineering demo, right? And it's clearly an engineering demo, right? Because it's got it's called Cyber Megaphone. So you can tell, it's Cyber Megaphone 2000, sorry. So you can tell it's utterly untouched by marketing, right? It's the purest form of engineering, right? And so if you look at each of these boxes, it's kind of cool, but after looking at these boxes for a while, we realized that there was something missing. So you see these video frames, right? And I know that guy over there in the top left-hand corner is Kevin Harwell, right down there, because I work with him. And I know that guy in the other box with the sombrero and the curly things on top is Malcolm Davenport because I work with him. And I know that thing on the bottom is Kevin's lucky bamboo plant. But as an application developer, there's no way for me to know that, right? There are no names on these boxes. Kevin's name's not up there. Malcolm's name's not up there. Lucky bamboo plant, his name's not up there. So, I mean, there's a little piece that's missing here, and we realized that after we got things done. And so we realized that we needed to add, and this is information that Asterisk does know. It does know the association between those video streams and participant info like caller ID and things like that, and other behind the scenes participant information. So we realized that we needed to add a participant info API to be able to access those things and have participant level events in ConfBridge to be able to propagate that information to those participants. So to provide for a much more rich client experience. We also added support in ConfBridge to be able to pass messages around. So if you want to build a one-stop shop video conferencing application, you also want to have text ability to be able to send messages between participants without a lot of additional infrastructure. You can use ConfBridge to be able to send messages between participants. And those messages can be not just be text or plain text or whatever, but they can also be programmatic bits of info. Like you could send images between each other and things like that due to the way that it was done. So that allows developers to be able to build much more compelling and enriching client-side experiences. There's another topic that I wanted to address that we tried to hit this year, and that's some performance improvements in PJSub. There was a wonderful talk last year at AstriCon about a benchmarking talk. And if you guys are like myself, a good benchmarking talk is like the bread and butter of life, right? To go see something versus something else and then figure out what happened, right? And so there was a good benchmarking talk between ChanSIP and ChanPJSIP. And for those of you who are familiar, ChanPJSIP is the successor to ChanSIP. It is the way forward in terms of SIP stacks with Asterisk. And so from a developer perspective, we are super happy in terms of the workflow with ChanPJSIP because due to the historical way that ChanSIP was architected, it makes it very challenging to maintain, and it makes it challenging to debug, and it's you inevitably run into situations where you fix one bug and you create 3 other bugs. And so due to that, we kind of took a step back and re-architected our relationship with SIP, and what came out of it was ChanPJSIP was a new SIP channel driver. And it's much easier to work on as developers, and it's kind of the pathway forward. But the fact that there were some outstanding areas, and it wasn't all the benchmarks, there was just a couple of tests that there was a significant discrepancy. We wanted to address those and make sure that there was no good reason that anyone should want to choose ChanSIP over ChanPJSIP, or at least from a performance perspective. And so let's talk about some graphs, because graphs are fun and pictures are good. If you look at the graphs up on the screen, the blue lines are the ChanSIP lines, and the red lines are the ChanPJSIP lines. And on one axis, you have percentage of CPU, and the other axis, you have registrations per second. So that was a scenario that it looked like there was a performance discrepancy between the two. So we noticed about a 7% delta. Like if you look at the graph on the left, there's about a 7% delta where ChanPJSIP is about 7% worse than ChanSIP. And that's across each of those scenarios, 200 registrations per second, 250 registrations per second, and 300, right? And if you look on the graph on the right, you can see what happened after we looked at it, thought about it, and figured out what ways we can improve things. And we were able to make a big difference there. And if you notice now, instead of having 7% difference in favor of ChanSIP being more performant, we have a few percent, about a 1 to 2% difference with ChanPJSIP being the victor, I guess, in terms of performance. And that's in 16.0. So we managed to be able to remove that being a compelling reason to use ChanSIP as well. But wait, there's more. So we found additional ways to improve performance, but they didn't make it into 16.0. But they're worth talking about. They're going to be in a 16.1 release. And if you'll notice these graphs, that's before and after. That's 16.0 versus what will be 16.1. the difference is even bigger. So we went from maybe 1 to 2% to probably 3 to 4% in most cases. And while that may not seem like much, oftentimes when you're doing performance analysis and trying to do performance optimization, many percent are made, or much of your difference is made up of multiple 1 to 2% changes that you make over time, right? And so I would expect trends like this to continue going forward as we continue to focus on optimization of the PJSIP stack. So let's see. There's one other thing I would like to talk about, and that's if you'll notice in here, in the 350 registrations per second category, there's no ChanSIP there. And there's a story behind that. ChanSIP was unable to handle that scenario, inherently unable to handle it. There are architectural limitations in ChanSIP due to its historical single-threaded protocol processing architecture that kept it from being able to handle this type of load. It was overloaded by retransmissions at that point. So we could not take it past approximately 300 registrations per second due to that constraint. What this tells you is, well, in terms of what that says for you as a user, is that there's more headroom available for you with ChanPJSIP. It better utilizes your multi-core CPU machines and allows you to access higher performance that is available to you with that machine. And I've got a fun graph here, which I just showed you. But you'll see, just for fun, we decided to take it a little bit higher. And you'll see we hit 350 registrations per second with ChanPJSIP. And then we tried 2,000 registrations per second with ChanPJSIP. And additionally, we tried 2,500. It's not on this graph, but in all with minimal amounts of retransmissions and things like that. It handled the load just fine. So if this was ever a doubt for you in terms or a reason for you to not move forward, I hope that this data helps you to eliminate that doubt and keep progressing. All right, I'm going to add just a few things of miscellaneous fun. I'm going to end this pretty quickly, but I just want to add a few fun things that were added. We add support for those of you that use WebRTC. Are there any? Can I raise a hands for people that utilize WebRTC in your network or your product? Or there's a few. So one of the pain points of utilizing WebRTC is all the certificates. It's kind of a pain in the rear to have to generate certificates and then make sure the permissions are right when you're setting up a system and making sure in the right spot and you spelled the path correctly in the conf file. I mean, there's a lot of little things that if you don't do this very often, it's a pain in the rear to get it wrong, right? And so Sean Bright, I think it was Sean, he added support this last year for ephemeral certificate generation so that Asterisk can dynamically generate certificates for DTLS connection, which is pretty cool. It kind of simplifies that a little bit and makes it easier as an administrator of an Asterisk system or product. There's a new data buffer API, so that's kind of under the hoods type feature, but it helps us to back our new NAC support or packet retransmission support. There was a new CDR-CEL backend by Near. Is Near here? All right, he might have split. But he added support for Beanstalk. I think it's a Beanstalk message queue as a CDR or CEL backend. Somebody still uses Dundee, I guess, in their network quite prolifically, and they contributed a patch to modernize it for IPv6. So we got IPv6 support for Dundee, which is pretty cool. And then there are many other performance improvements in Asterisk. As you may recall, I said the number 1,000. There are 1,000 different commits I had to go through and editorialize. And so I had to just be very choosy about what I picked because I didn't want to keep you guys here all afternoon. But many, many more. There are performance improvements in CDRs, the stasis message bus within Asterisk, and much, much, much more. With that, I just want to give you a couple reminders. Like I mentioned before, Asterisk 14 went end of life about 2 weeks ago, completely end of life. No security patches are being contributed to that branch anymore. And so it is kind of late, but it'd probably be best practice to get off that branch. Asterisk 15 is graduated security fix only mode. So it will not receive any non-security releases for the next year. And so it's time to start probably planning your move forward to 16. I would advise you also to keep track of what's happening. For those of you that go from LTS to LTS, I would advise you that it is in your best interest to make sure that you know what's happening in standard releases as well, so there are no surprises. Generally, we try not to surprise people with major releases of Asterisk. Sometimes it does happen, but thanks in large in part to our test suite, most new major releases of Asterisk are probably the most stable release we've done to that point, because the test suite keeps growing, and our ability to ensure the quality of the code keeps growing as well, which is really neat. It's really neat to see that. With that, I think we're going to move forward. I want to thank all of you for coming to AstriCon. Thank you for all your really good ideas, great talk submissions, for your participation. We're going to have a few minutes where some Asterisk developers are going to come up, and you can ask some questions if you'd like. And we'll do our best to answer them. First one, let's have Kevin Harwell come up. Come on up, Kevin. Next we'll have George Joseph. And Ben Ford, come on up as well. All right, does somebody have an audience mic for any
I got a mic here.
Okay. Would you like to direct this, David?
Okay, yes. So I've got a question for one of the Asterisk team members up there. Goodness me, a familiar face with the first question. It's Matt Jordan, previous Dangerous Demo winner.
Wait a second.
Should we have given him the mic? Probably not. No, actually, I thought it was very, so for everybody who in the audience used to run the Asterisk project, Matt Fredrickson graciously took it over for me many years ago. Since that time, I do a lot of other things at Digium, a Sangoma company. And so my interaction with the Asterisk project is very hands-off at this point, which is great because Matt's doing an awesome job, a fabulous job, and these guys just rock it out every day. So I learned a couple new things in this talk, one of which was the data buffer API, which is really awesome. Do you guys have any idea where else in Asterisk or in other places that could be used, jitter buffer, other types of things? Like, where do you also see that API being reused in either existing functionality or for new functionality going forward?
Ben, you want to talk about this one?
I can talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
I guess, like you mentioned, the jitter buffer would be one area that it could be used. It could be used for any kind of frame, really, since it's used to hold just generic objects inside of it. Other than that, I guess anything goes.
That'd be my thought as well. That'd be the first place that I would think. So it sounds like you're heading.
Jitter buffer's kind of gnarly.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
Yep. But anywhere where you need a decent circular buffer, it's a candidate for it. That's a super programming question, though, which is cool.
Okay, and any non-team members care to throw a question in?
Oh, come on.
This is a rare opportunity.
Everybody wants
There's
to
one
go.
right at the back there.
No, not him again.
Ahmad at the back. Yeah. I actually made that up, Matt. That's not really. I just wanted to walk past you. Only joking. Was that a question, Ahmad? Are you going to stand so the guys can see you? Oh, there he goes.
Have you looked into the error concealment? Like you talked about, like you retransmitting the frame in case of loss, but there are better alternative to retransmitting, and one of the ways is an error concealment on the image. So instead of like retransmitting, you just mask it with a white or black, depending on the picture. Those pixels that missing.
You guys want me to take this one? Okay. So to answer your question, yes. I'm assuming you're referring to forward error correction support.
He nodded and said yes.
Cool. Yes. So that is something that is on our radar and we're aware of, and we're I guess thinking about we're always thinking about ways to continue to improve that. Advantages of using forward error correction is you don't have to, as long as you have the proper, you manage to get enough forward error correction information, you have the ability to, in real time, compensate for any losses of video stream data and things like that. So it's a really good way to do it. We haven't added support for it yet, but it's definitely on our radar in terms of interesting things to hit.
Video?
Yeah.
Oh.
because we already support
Yeah,
for
Opus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good point. We actually, from an audio perspective, there's a forward error correction support inherent in the codec payload. So inherently in the codec payload, that allows us, and we can take advantage of that right now.
I'm going to come back to Matt Jordan, because he did have his hand up earlier.
Very dangerous. Matt, you alluded a little bit to the test suite and how that's been able to ensure the quality of the project and keep all the releases very solid as they're coming out. What other improvements has the team made in the test suite over the past year?
Kevin, you want to talk about that?
Gosh, yeah. I mean, obvious one is just more tests have been added. We also created branching, I guess, in the test suite. Before there was a lot of versioning, specific information in there, and it made it kind of complicated when you're writing tests. You had to remember to make sure it was running against the correct version and put that information in there, or the test would fail, and every time a new one came out, you had to update things sometimes. So this one, the branching scheme now follows along with the Asterisk branches, and so we're able to better target and know which branch those things were on, and that made some of our continuous integration a little bit easier. George can probably talk a little more about that.
Yeah, the continuous, we're running more tests than we've ever run, not just because we've added tests, but because the infrastructure now allows us to run almost the full test suite before every commit into every branch. And it's been a pain because we've discovered a lot of issues during that testing process, but it's really helped us find issues before they make it out to you guys.
Yeah, and there's been some other changes too. We had a couple of community members update it for Python 3. I don't think we have any of our stuff running against Python 3 right now, but because the test suite is based, well, the core of it's kind of Python code. You can still, if you would like, we don't encourage that, but you can write a test in just about any language you want to, I suppose.
Don't tell them that.
It's the dirty little secret, yeah. But yeah, we had a couple of community members go through and update for Python 3 to make improvements because we need to start moving forward for some of that as well. So I'm trying to think of any other improvements. Over 900, almost 1,000, I think?
Close to 1,000 tests
Yeah.
have to pass before a commit gets merged into one of the production branches.
It's quite a lot of tests.
Yeah.
We have a question now from the AstriQuest question master, so listen very, very carefully.
Oh, man. So in the middle of the 13 branch, it became possible to bundle PJSIP with a simple configuration command, and that happened in 15 as well. There's another package that is now capable of being bundled. Would you like to mention anything about that?
Live Jansen. Yeah, so we rely heavily on the Jansen package for JSON manipulation. We use JSON internally. If you were in the performance talk, I talked about Stasis. It's our internal message bus. It's all JSON based. And we have over time discovered issues with that package as it is distributed in multi-threaded scenarios, memory leaks, and crashes, which is obviously not a good thing. So like we did for PJ Project, which was bundle it in the distribution for Asterisk, so we and you know that there is a consistent tested version of it. We did that for Live Jansen just maybe about a month ago.
Yeah, it was very recently.
Yep, so that fixes that even we contributed to the project, just like, yeah, so for bundled, you may not know that a lot of the issues for PJ Project we discover, we create patches for them and we give them back to the PJ Project team to incorporate. But we wouldn't see them normally until the next release of PJ Project. So what we do is we keep those patches locally and we apply them so that you get the benefit immediately. We're doing the same thing with Live Jansen. So all the issues that we discovered that we created patches for is actually Corey Farrell, one of our top community contributor that did most of the work here. The patches that he created and also sent upstream, are also now currently in the Asterisk bundled version. So a little more stability, a little more predictability out of that.
Okay, who has our next question? There's one. It's Silver.
It's not related to directly to Asterisk, but can you explain us what is it an Asterisk developer? So how you are organized, like a Scrum team or agilities, or are you working on the same office?
Sure. So I guess I can talk a little bit about that. So this is just on the Digium / Sangoma side, because I always have to make sure that I always reemphasize to myself that the world is much bigger than the office of people that I'm with, the world of Asterisk, and I continually try to keep that first and in the forefront of my mind, right? But in terms of the way that the Digium / Sangoma employees are organized that work day to day on the Asterisk team, we have a Scrum type process or Agile type process. Four of the members are on site at Huntsville, and then 2 members are remote, and plus myself. And so that's
yeah, we don't count you.
Yeah,
by the way. We tell you we do, but we don't.
Yeah. If you didn't get anything from that, I get a lot of grief from them. So.
Last year, there was the RTP bleed disclosure. Recently, there was another change made to the RTP support in Asterisk to handle other situations that might arise. Do you want to speak to that change that occurred very recently?
Yeah, you're going to have to take that one, man.
Ben, you worked on that, right?
Strict RTP.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to show off your baby?
It's not much, but yeah, so we have this mechanism in Asterisk called strict RTP, which whenever you're starting up a call and media is flowing, there's a grace period at the start called the learning period. And during this time, as you're getting the RTP packets, you're expecting a normal flow of media, so you'll get a packet within a certain interval. So say it's like you have this window, and you're expecting 4 packets to come in. If you don't get those 4 packets in that interval, or if you get like a burst of packets, then you can't lock on to the media address, so the media can't flow between the 2 endpoints. So strict RTP, that's what that does. There's a new option, though, that gets rid of that time interval. So if you have a bad network connection and packets are coming in bursts, which is not what we expect, then it's still fine. It can still lock on to the target address, and the media will start flowing like normal.
Yeah, the idea is to prevent somebody from hijacking the media stream for a call that has just been established.
Okay, any more questions here? Fred, are you just scratching? Okay, Fred was just scratching. Fair enough. That's Fred from Camelio, by the way, at the back. Any other questions? Seems like we're drawing to a close. In fact, there goes the notifier. In that case, let's just say, oh, sorry. Okay, sorry, I missed that one. Here we go.
So I'm really new to Asterisk. Our company's just barely starting to adopt it. And we decided to put it into a Docker container. And as I was making the build, I noticed a lot of the scripts and things weren't really created to be run in an automated fashion. Is there any push to move toward that to make Docker containers more of a first-party citizen?
Yeah, that's kind of been my baby, I guess, for the past year. We just, I want to say, maybe not just, about 6 months ago, transitioned that continuous integration environment that we were talking about that runs the 1,000 tests. That's all Dockerized now. If you've checked out a recent Asterisk branch, and now I'm trying to remember whether it made it into the last release of 13 or not, I don't remember. There's a CI subdirectory inside of the tests subdirectory in the Asterisk source tree. And that's where we've started to put our scripts for running and building Asterisk Previously, they were in separate repositories which weren't accessible to you guys, but now we're trying to get those publicized. So we have part of it there, I want to say about 75%. The last part that we still have to get in there are the scripts that we use to actually generate the Docker files that create the Docker images. Right now, when we test in Ubuntu, Fedora, and CentOS Docker images, and we randomize them. So a particular commit that is going into the 13, 15, and 16 branch, well, the 13 branch ones might run on Fedora, the 16 branch ones might run on CentOS, and the 15 ones might run on Ubuntu so that we get a distribution. But we could never really do that without Docker and without being able to instantly spin up a container that's pre-configured with everything we need and just compile and run. So you'll be seeing more of that, over the next 6 months or so.
Since we're talking containerization and orchestration, we have Sean here, community member, who did both a dangerous demo and a quick talk. So I'll just hand the mic to him to give the Kubernetes angle.
Well, and containerization generally, of course, there are many container Docker files submitted in the community, among them my own, but they're really just a few guidelines that you want to run by for the containerization. The first stumbling block that you'll always run into is the optimizations for the compile. So you have to disable that. I think it's enabled by default in the menu select. Okay, well, all right, if you've already seen my stuff, then yeah, fine. But yes, that, the configuration, as George was saying, is a big part. I like to keep those separate from the images, and so I have tools there for that, the Asterisk config tool for generating those from templates and that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you're familiar with it, that's pretty much it.
And if you know the hardware environment that you're running in, you don't necessarily have to turn the optimizations off. You just have to be able to, with a very high degree of certainty, guarantee that the hardware you're running on is the hardware that you optimized it for.
Okay, any more questions? Ahmad, right at the back. Give me some exercise here, Ahmad.
Thanks. Last year in DEF CON, we talked a lot about documentation, writing a new book for the Asterisk. I don't know what happened to that. Is there any progress in that? And also, in today's presentation, we talked about 13, 14, and 11, 15, and 16. But can you tell us, what is the roadmap for the 17 and 18? And, what do you have in your mind?
I guess, can I talk about documentation? Because I love documentation.
Sure, you talk about documentation, I'll talk about roadmaps.
Talking to engineers about writing good documentation is almost a waste of time. We try, and what we've got really is reference documentation. And it did come up in Astra DevCon this year, and in a lot of side conversations that we had, particularly Alexander, if Alexander's still here, we talked, yeah, there he is. We talked quite a bit about how, and this is from a developer point of view, how do we even get more community developers involved in the project, let alone creating better documentation for users? Man, we're open to suggestions. It's, since we don't actually run it ourselves, I mean, obviously we use it, but we're involved in the development part. We don't use it on a day-to-day basis. We're pretty bad at writing real documentation.
And I think what George is talking about is user documentation from a new user or a user perspective, not from a developer perspective.
Yep.
Just before we go ahead on the roadmap stuff, on the book front, I know that the authors of the book are refreshing things at the moment, wanting to coordinate with 16 being an LTS, and so that work is in hand.
That's right, and thanks for mentioning that, David.
Good.
Yeah, there's going to be, I don't know if we're allowed to say this, though. Yeah. It's not our message, so. Anyway, good things might be coming.
did you want to comment on our other question about 17, 18?
Sure. So let's, let me take a step back here from that question. So one of the challenges that I have in my role is how do you build a roadmap that is really composed of the efforts of at least 74 contributors this last year, right? That have their own interests, their own goals, and their own level of commitments, right? So how do you predict that? And that's a challenge that is quite difficult. So the only thing that I can do is I can talk about, efforts that maybe the Digium part, the Digium/Sangoma part, if there's a swear jar for every time I say Digium, I should Sangoma, it'd be full this week. But in any case, the only thing I can do is talk about the efforts that the Digium portion of the team are working on, right? And that's just to emphasize the fact that Asterisk and what's happening with Asterisk is by far bigger than just what the people at Digium/Sangoma are working on, right? And so, I don't have anything as far as roadmap for this next year, and usually I don't know that information for a little while, at least for my team. And so I guess we'll see what happens. But, I think it's safe to say that we've done a lot of work over the last couple of years in the video realm, and so there might be some video work. Hopefully there'll be some momentum around that effort as people adopt it more and fix bugs and find holes and things like that. I think there's been some effort in the performance category that we've worked on, and I would love to see more work in performance, but I can't promise or commit to that at this point. I can just say that would be a good area to go and keep working on. I think if you look at long-term the project, Asterisk has been heading in a direction of sort, right? As of Asterisk 11 or 12, there's been a long-term effort to turn it into a better telephony API toolbox. There was the Asterisk REST interface that was added that gives a more modern, programmer-friendly user interface, or programmer-friendly interface for controlling Asterisk as a system and being able to better build applications on top of it. I wouldn't be surprised if that direction continues, of trying to do things in that direction. Asterisk is still a really great one-stop PBX, right? Even if you're not using it as a programmatically controlled toolbox, there's still many great components, and there will remain many great components that make it into a nice PBX solution as well. So that's kind of what I see as far as future directions. And that's what I get to do, and when I try to make things up, is try to figure out what that means and where the momentum will carry us, right? So I don't know if that's an answer, but that's the answer I have.
Okay, I think we've got time for one last question, if there is one. One last question. Oh, man, again. I should have just stayed there, shouldn't I? You've got one more question. Go on. It's late in the day.
Since nobody's asking to ask questions. Since Digium is part of Sangoma, and I guess they have more finances and resources, would you get more resources into Asterisk projects?
Oh man, I'm always asking for more resources in the Asterisk project. Whether I can get them at Digium/Sangoma or whether I can get them in the community, anything I can do to rally more resources, we're on the same page. So we'll see what happens.
That was in the Ask Them Anything session as well, wasn't it? That very same question. Okay, listen, I think we're coming towards the end of the questions, so before we close up properly, let's say a very big thank you to left to right, Ben, George, Kevin, Matthew. And all that really remains to do is to thank some other folk as well, the wonderful AV team at the back, TMC that help us out, represented by little Tash at the back there. There you go. And Julie at the back from Digium as well. Digium's a Sangoma company. So thank you very much for coming along. Remember to fill in the feedback on the individual sessions. That's still available on either on the Sked app on your phones or www.astricon2018.sked.com. And be sure also to complete the follow-up survey that you will inevitably get, because that helps us make things better for next year. Talking of next year, can't tell you where it's going to be yet. I'm sure that information will come soon, but be sure to come back. Thank you all very much, and goodbye.